Now it's time for a little thing we like to call The World's Gone Mad. Yes, with Wimbledon fast approaching, this week's women's tennis finally showed it can be every bit the equal of John McEnroe-style men's tennis, perhaps even more so, with this aggressive post-match showdown between two rivals in Germany. Sadly, we had to cut out the Trumpian colourful language.
Nobody likes you. Nobody likes you. Look at me. When you shake hands, thank you very much.
Ah yes, women with spirit. Indeed, anger seemed to be in the air this week as women vented at their frustration about that other famous belligerent New Yorker, Donald Trump.
I'm so scared for our country, and I'm so sick that people support him, and I don't understand, all because they wouldn't vote for the best person that could have been president right now, Kamala.
Oh yes, Kamala Harris. Clearly we are all the poorer due to her absence from our lives these days, but at least we have Kamala's daughter, who has become quite the online celebrity thanks to her personal fashion parades. Here she is showing off the latest in lefty style and elegance this week.
I got a feeling that I can't wait. Just a feeling that I won't leave behind, because it's something that it's on my mind. I guess it goes like na.
For other women, simply being woke is reward enough in itself.
Proud to be woke, proud to be a liberal, proud to be a Democrat. Hell yeah. What does that mean? That means that I care about everybody. That means I care about the USA. That means I care about our air. That means I care about our parks, our oceans.
Noble sentiments indeed, but does she really care about everybody? Not quite.
There is a complete difference. You can be a Republican and you're not a MAGA and you're not a racist piece of But yes, I will always stay woke.
Which does beg the question, how can young women these days cope with the anxiety of a world of Trump and MAGA? This woman has one solution.
Can someone tell me what MAGA men find attractive so that I can wear the complete opposite? Thanks.
Sounds like a plan. For other young women, there are coping mechanisms to help you deal with your anxiety, such as anxiety bookshelves. Now, why didn't I think of this?
It's an official anxiety bookshelf. I'm sure y'all have seen the scam ones. Don't get tricked. It's got a little latch. The woodworking is just stunning. And look how many books. I'm going to sit here and organize them for hours. I look at the books that they have. There are classics. There are popular book talk books. Look, you're kidding. I actually do not have words for how therapeutic and satisfying that was. You want to reorganize? Thank you so much, Anxiety Bookshelf, for sending.
Fantastic, but here's another thought. Maybe to relieve her anxiety, our young woman could actually try reading some of those classic books. You know, for real. Just a thought. Well, there's always music to take your mind off the woes of the modern world. I mean, it's the northern summer now, so there must be some wonderful music festivals to enjoy. Indeed, last week it was La Fête de la Musique in the beautiful streets of Paris. Well, here's how I remember it.
Allons enfants de la patrie.
Ça y est, le jour de gloire des bémols et des dièses s'en est revenu avec l'été. Les uns sur un coin de trottoir pour crier leur révolte au monde.
Ah, magnifique. What could be more pleasant? Sadly, however, Paris is not quite what it used to be. Quel dommage. And nor was this week's music festival, where there were 371 arrests, 6 people stabbed, over 1,500 people suffered minor or other injuries, 13 gendarmes were attacked, 51 vehicles set on fire, and most horrific of all are the allegations and reports that 145 girls were reportedly stabbed by random strangers with syringes who injected them with an unknown substance which police are still investigating. How horrific. And things aren't much better across the channel. The late summer Notting Hill Carnival, which I fondly remember as a great weekend at the end of August celebrating reggae and red stripe, was in the news this week with calls for this year's Carnival to reform or die, in other words, be scrapped, with London police describing it as a war zone and an orgy of violence and debauchery, and police officers claiming that when they attend, they are like lambs to the slaughter. But, believe it or not, the organisers defended the festival, saying, it's not all that bad.
There were 2 people that died, so I appreciate why you're saying what you're saying in terms of there is clearly an issue in terms of violence and stabbings and whatnot. But there were 2 million people there, right? Let's put it into context. 2 million people versus 2 deaths, 8 stabbings and 324 arrests. So if you think about last year, if you put it into context, it's not actually that big of a deal in my humble opinion, if you wouldn't mind me saying so, Mark.
Seriously? Oh, that's all right then. It's all about context. You see, that's the world of lefty moral relativism writ large. Meanwhile, we learned last week that there is also the concept which I shall call historical relativism. You thought white Anglo-Saxons settled Australia? Ha! You know nothing.
It's something they don't teach you in school. Muslims have been in Australia far longer than European colonisation. Muslims built real, respectful relationships with Aboriginal communities. They traded goods, shared stories, built families, and they did it with integrity. While the colonisers destroyed, Muslims built relationships based on trust and respect. And this isn't just history, it's connection. The Aussie bush is part of a land that we've been connected to for centuries.
Yes, now obviously Macassan fishermen traded with Aboriginals at various times over the millennia, but the idea that Islam had significant relationships and connections to Australia for centuries is a little far-fetched, to say the least. No doubt soon some bright spark will suggest we rename Darwin with a more appropriate name, Dar-al-Win, perhaps. In Canada this week, where we in Australia steal all our lefty progressive woke ideas from, they renamed a street with a First Nations name. Why? Because of racism, of course.
The street formerly known as Trutch had been named after BC's first Lieutenant Governor, whose views and policies about First Nations people are now recognized as racist and wrong. The Musqueam have long been troubled by having to look at it, and there was unanimous support at City Council to take it down. Can you pronounce it? But what to replace it with?
Every symbol has a sound, and they're all sounded out.
Well, the English translation is Musqueam View. The new legal name of the street is written in characters from the North American phonetic alphabet, a system developed by linguists to express words from First Nation languages. Here's Mayor Sim having a go at it.
Today, we officially renamed Trutch Street to Schmuckme Awesome Street.
Schmuck me and Awesome Street. What a name. Couldn't have done it better myself. And finally, what are we to make of John Lyons on the ABC? Here he was the other day proclaiming that Donald Trump had gone rogue and that he listens to the Prime Minister of Israel rather than members of his own administration. Sounds like a conspiracy theory to me, John.
That suggests that in a way, he's gone rogue when it comes to his own intelligence services. He's had to choose between backing the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu or backing his own intelligence organisation, and he's decided to back the Israeli Prime Minister.
So is he right? Here's Donald Trump this week yet again backing Benjamin Netanyahu to the hilt.
You know what? We basically have 2 countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
The ABC, what a farce. And speaking of all things Middle East, many forget that the necessary bombing of Iran is a direct result of the stupidest decision in Middle East history, and that's saying something, and that was the decision by Hamas, backed by Iran, to launch the atrocious, horrific, vile attacks of October 7th, when Hamas butchered, raped, abducted and tortured Israeli kids, mums, women, girls and families. One of the most grotesque and barbaric events in modern history. Yet disgustingly in the West, many young people and so-called progressives support Hamas. But do they even know what they are supporting? Have they, as it were, read the fine print, the terms and conditions of supporting Hamas? This brave young man decided to find out.
Doing a quick petition to help Hamas free Palestine. You're all in? All right. Oh yeah, you're in? Easily. I just have to read terms and conditions just so you know what you're signing.
Okay.
By supporting Hamas freeing Palestine, you agree to the following. You agree that every Jew, Christian, and non-Muslim in the world must be slaughtered.
I don't know about that one.
You endorse making homosexuality punishable by jail or death.
What? Oh no, that I don't.
You don't agree with that? You believe Iran should use Palestinians as puppets to spread radical jihad and destroy the West? No?
No.
I'm glad I read the terms and agreements. You support strict Sharia law, which bans women from showing their knees, hair, playing sports in public, not being able to travel without a man's permission.
I'm sorry.
Not interested? Oh, okay. You want a terrorist group that beheads babies and rapes girls to replace only democracy in the Middle East?
Not sure that's something to support.
So if I sign, I agree with this.
Yes.
Maybe no.
No? Okay.
Oh no.
Brilliant. Should be compulsory viewing for every young lefty. And yet, this week we had this headline in Australia. Australian gay rights organisation defends Iran even though Iran executes homosexuals. As the article says, quote, Amnesty International estimates more than 5,000 gay men and lesbians have been executed since the Ayatollah came to power in the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Yes, it truly is a world gone mad.